What's up, gym owners? In this video, I'm gonna walk you through semi-private hiring 101. And this is not gonna be about like the hiring process or anything like that. What we're gonna cover are the roles that you're gonna need at each level and stage of a business in a semi-private facility. Now, in a previous video, which can be linked somewhere in this video, I walked through the hiring process and kind of the roles that are needed and when to hire people for a large group training facility. In this video, I wanna talk about semi-private. So shout out to whoever asked about this. Here's what you got, all right? Now, in this, there's three primary roles that a semi-private facility is gonna need. And again, this is dependent on how involved do you wanna be as an owner. You've obviously got the owner, which isn't listed, but you're gonna need a coach, a lead nurture specialist, so someone who's gonna handle your lead nurture, and then a retention manager. Now, this differs from a large group facility as well as a health club in a lot of ways. The reason why is because a semi-private facility can be a much smaller facility from a footprint standpoint. You can produce a ton of profit from this facility. As an owner operator who's in the business, you're most likely going to be the person who's doing sales unless you want to hire a facility manager, kind of like a GM. And I didn't put that person here because for most semi-private facility owners, you want to be in the business, you want to be a part of it, you want to continue to work in the business. Now, if you don't, you can add on to this position basically a GM, which would basically replace the retention manager, but this GM would have a dual role of both sales and retention. I left that off for this because of the normal structure of a semi-private and how we suggest it. But the first one that you're gonna always hire for is a coach. The next one is gonna be lead nurture. And then the last one's gonna be a retention manager as your membership base grows. Now, the good part about a semi-private facility is that you don't have to have a ton of clients to make a lot of money and as well as make a great impact. Typically in a semi-private facility, churn is gonna be lower. Your clients are gonna get exceptional results and your price points are higher. Smaller amount of people in a class. And when we talk about semi-private, we define it as anywhere between 4 to 6 people in a session. The sessions could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It's kind of up to you. But when I walk through the schedule, the sessions and everything else, it's based on the assumption that you're running a semi-private facility with 4 people in a session. We'll walk through this. So based on stages on membership amounts, basically what your membership levels are at. Level 1 is anywhere between 0 to 25 EFTs. So this is reoccurring members. Now, a lot of our clients that do semi-private, they don't sell right into EFT. They will sell into a front-end challenge. It could be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it might be. They'll sell into that challenge. They'll collect cash up front and then they'll convert those individuals into EFT. While they're doing those sales, they also will have opportunities for people that aren't interested in the challenge and want to sign up for a 12-month agreement. They just sign up for a 12-month agreement. But anywhere between 0 to 25 reoccurring members, this is what your org chart should look like. And again, whenever I walk through these types of models and the hiring aspects of this and payroll, it is always skewed towards profit because we want to optimize profit first. And it's really important to remember that, especially if you're just starting out. So the org chart would just be you, the owner, which is doing everything outside of one coach who should be coaching your evening sessions. And the way your schedule would look like at 0 to 25 EFTs, again, this is with 4 people, this is a 4-person cap in your sessions. You're going to have most likely, and this could be interchangeable however you want, but you're typically going to have 2 in the morning all the way across, all the way to Saturday, and you're gonna have 1 in the evening, and you won't have 1 on Saturday. And what you're gonna want is this coach will coach all of the evenings. Well, why is that person gonna do all of the evenings? Well, because evenings is prime time for you to sell. So all you would have is you're coaching 2 sessions every morning and you're gonna be selling in the evening. Now, with this model is they are coming in and you've got a 4-person cap, but this is also under the assumption that your members are coming in 3 times per week. Now, it could also be 2 times per week, however you want, but this is under the assumption that they're coming in 3 times per week. Always our suggestion is never have your clients be able to do that unless you want them to pay more for it. And one easy way to do that is have them just pay in full for the entire year without a discount, and they can come 5 days a week. But it's much easier to control your capacity and how much you can grow and how much you can sell when you have your membership plans set up at 3 times a week or 2 times a week. All right. So this is level 1, 0 to 25. Typically in this area, if you're not selling challenges or front end programs like our clients are doing, you're probably going to be anywhere between the $8,000 to $15,000 a month range in total revenue. But it's only going to cost you roughly $500 to maybe tops $1,000 for a coach based on how much you're going to pay them. My suggestion is don't pay them any more than you would someone who does a large group. Just go off comparable rates in your area. All right, that's level 1. Now, level 2, as we start to grow, level 2 is anywhere between 25 to 50 EFTs. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, well, why are the EFTs so low here compared to large group where we did 50 jumps, like 50-person jumps? Well, on this one, the reason why is because semi-privates, you don't need as many people to make a ton of money. You have 100 max and you're crushing it. You should be, if your pricing is right, with 100 members in a semi-private program, you're doing $1 million a year with exceptional profit margins. So you don't need a ton. And one of the other reasons why is you have a smaller footprint and you are also charging higher prices. So depending on where you are, you don't need a ton of members to make a lot of money as well as to make a great impact. But on level 2, 25 to 50 EFTs, you now need at least 2 coaches. And I put this as like, this is a minimum. Anytime you see these, it's just a minimum. You need 2 coaches. And the owner, now you're doing everything except being on the floor. And so your coaches should be split into a morning and evening shift. And at this point, when you're in 25 to 50 range, you're looking at 4-person cap, probably 4 sessions in the morning all the way across. And then you're looking at 3 sessions in the evening. Now you could have 3 sessions on Saturday if you wanted to, just based on what your clients want. But with this setup, you are still making a ton of money here. Your gross margins are exceptional based on your coaching staff, but all they're doing is that, which means as the owner, you're doing everything else. You're making sure that you're getting enough leads. So either you hired an agency or you're running your own ads. You're doing your organic content. You're doing your lead nurture. You're doing the sales. You're doing all the retention parts of this. So you're making sure that your clients are having an exceptional experience. You're making sure that they're losing weight or getting stronger. You're also planning events. You're doing all of the things outside of being on the floor at this point. Now, again, you don't have to manage a ton of clients, so this shouldn't take up a ton of time for you. But as the owner, your sole focus should be continuing to grow this. So you need to make sure you're getting enough leads, make sure you're using enough channels to get leads in, whether it's referrals, advertising, your website, organic, whatever it might be. And you need to make sure that your staff is doing an exceptional job on the floor. All right, now that's level 2. Level 3, and kind of the last level that I have here, because I wanted to keep it really simple. We could go past this, but there's frankly not a ton of semi-private facilities that get past and sit at like 150, 200, 250 members. That's the goal. That's great. You just continue to add on coaches and you probably bring in a GM to manage it. But at this level right here, you should be very close. You should be doing a minimum of $60,000 to $100,000 per month at the right pricing. And here, as you get closer to 100 EFTs, right? So on this one, you have yourself, the owner, and then we've got a lead nurture specialist. So that takes time off of your plate and you don't have to focus on that. It's a repeatable thing. So it's very scalable. You can hire a VA, you can hire a local person, anywhere between $5 to $15 an hour to do this. You need a retention manager because at this point, when you get to here, it becomes a little bit harder to manage this, especially if you're wanting to continue to sell and continue to make sure this is going well as buy back some time for you. You want a retention manager and their sole job is to make sure that your clients get amazing results. They're planning all the events, they're planning any internal challenges, they're planning giveaways, they're planning everything here, and they are the ones executing on that. And so it is their job to make sure that they're following up with clients, they're making sure that they're scheduled, making sure they're coming in, making sure no one's falling through the cracks, they do the exit interviews, all of that. This person's sole job is to make sure that churn is as low as possible. And then you should have at least 4 coaches. And when you get to this point with 4 coaches, you're looking at a split, again, morning and evening, and because you're going to have a lot of sessions. And the reason why you have a lot of sessions is because you just don't have as many people in a session. And that's the reason why they're paying more. So on this one, when you look at the session count, you're going to be somewhere probably in the 7 and 6 range. And so this is where it starts to get pretty hard to scale, especially if you don't have a ton of space. If you have a ton of space and you're able to start having people come in every 15 or 30 minutes and you start a new session at that point, it will make it easier to scale this. And that's my suggestion. If you get to the point where you're limited on space and you have a ton of members and you have a ton of demand, you can start doing that, where a new session starts every 15, 20, or 30 minutes. but that will require you to have more coaches on the floor. So if you have a session that starts every 30 minutes, that means you need at least 2 coaches on the floor, and they basically get no breaks. They're just running through in the morning, and then they're doing the same thing in the evening, or you have a different shift in the evening with different coaches. If it's every 20 minutes, you need at least 3 coaches on the floor, literally every hour. If it's 15 minutes, you need 4. So you got to think through that as you scale. But if space is a bottleneck and you have a ton of demand, it's a really easy way to scale what you have. But for most facilities, they're doing 30, 45, or hour-long sessions, and this is what it would look like. And it's pretty simple. Right here, your margins are exceptional. If you're doing this right and your pricing is right, and you're at that 100 EFT mark, you're doing anywhere between, like I said, $70,000 to $100,000 a month with probably minimum 50% net margins, net. This does not include other ancillary sales that you can make from supplements, apparel, you name it. So doing this, it's really simple, really easy. Semi-private is very easy to scale. It is an exceptional model, in my opinion, and I think it's very easy for gym owners to go out and make a ton of money. But just remember, when you're hiring, you don't need to hire and front load everyone in the beginning. Do it as you scale, because you want to make sure that you're prioritizing profit as you grow. And one of the biggest mistakes that gym owners will make, or any business owner will make, is they will overhire before they have the actual supply coming in. And so they'll overhire thinking that they're going to get a lot of members in, and then they realize, oh shoot, I don't have as many members coming in. And they start wasting a ton of money on basically payroll and trainers, coaches, and all these things that frankly aren't as important in the early stages. So make sure that you scale appropriately, and using this model, when you get to these levels of EFT, you can go through and you can scale your semi-private profitably from day one, no matter what. All right, hope this helps. As always, if you like this, hit the like button, comment down below if you have any questions or you want to see other variations of this. Happy to break it down. I can also, we have financial models on all of this as well. I might break that down in a future one. But hopefully you guys found value in this. Drop a comment, and as always, follow us here for more tactical ways for you to be able to go out, reach more people, change more lives, and build a wildly profitable business.